Hello, good morning or good mid-afternoon if you're on the East Coast. I'm Beverly Hosford. This is Erin Nitschke. We are on the NFPT Facebook page broadcasting live. So say hello if you're here and invite some friends to join us because we're going to talk today about how to advance your career. It's something that may be applicable to anybody, not just personal trainers, but anyone who wants to take that next step or do something a little more or go to the next level. How are you, Erin?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's raining here today, so I've got my flower hat here.
I like it. It's very nice. It matches your sweater.
We had a rummage sale at our church this weekend, and on the way out, one of the ladies was like, "You guys should take this hat." So I did. It was free.
Hey,
it's a great hat. But it's great. So I've got my flower hat on the desk to, keep me. I actually like the rain though. It's kind of romantic. Yeah.
I do too. It's a little bit overcast and cloudy here. So I don't mind it so much. As long as it's not snowing, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing you can hear me and I can hear you, but Mandy says she can't hear us. So I don't know. Maybe we'll wait for someone else to come on and confirm that because I'm not really sure. I can restart. I'm going to restart my video real quick just in case.
I will
Awesome. And I'm going to tweet the show out and share it on Facebook. If you want to go ahead and share and tell people that you're hanging out with us, that would be awesome because we're going to dive into how to advance your career, something Erin and I have been working on. I've been career oriented for 15 to 20 years now. So I've taken lots of steps and made lots of changes. It doesn't even always have to be that you're, elevating it or going to the next level. Like I hinted at in my Facebook post, it could just be a change of direction that you want to take. Mm-hmm. And I know Erin also has had many different changes in her career. So we're here to guide you on any career changes you want to make. Okay, we've got 4 confirmations that we can be heard. We are heard.
Yay! Good.
That's good. So we're not just a bunch of mouthing heads.
Talking heads.
All right, so maybe you're a trainer, maybe you're another type of practitioner and you're seeing clients all the time and you're just wanting something different. You're wanting something new. Maybe you're wanting a larger reach. We have a lot of ideas on how you can do that. If you really like being with people, which most people in the fitness industry hopefully do, then a natural step may be to become a teacher or a presenter, because then you're still teaching people. It may still be a group if you like being in front of groups, and you can be a teacher at a community college or a university. You could also become a presenter at conventions, or you can set up your own little workshops at your gym. That's something all of them are what I have done. I started at a community college. I just put the word out that I wanted to teach. And I think you usually need a master's degree to do that. Mm-hmm. You might be able to teach some of the adult learning classes without one. And then I did that for a while. But if you don't have a master's degree, you could set up some workshops at your gym for other trainers. And I did that too. I just put the word out. I emailed everyone I knew. I put flyers out. I emailed people at different universities in town and gyms and told them I'm running this workshop. I got it approved through some organizations. And I think I had just a couple people at my first workshop, but then I kept doing them and I would get more and more people coming. And so that's another thing that you can do, or you can take it to the big time and go present at a convention.
Yeah. That's kind of a large step, I think. If you're hesitant about stepping outside and starting there, don't start there. Look to your own community. There are a ton of nonprofits out there that are always looking for experts to lend their insight. Mm-hmm. So, if you have a local wellness council, or you have a Volunteers of America, or you have something like that someone there is looking for some sort of health guidance or to put on some sort of lunch and learn, whether it's for their staff or their consumers, that's always a really great place to start. Mm-hmm. You could look to small businesses too. There's a huge gap in corporate wellness right now. And so that could be a place to begin. And it's just a matter of making those connections and go back to thinking about how you built your professional network. It's the same type of thing. You have to reach out and you have to let people know you're there. Whether like what Bev did, just, reaching out to people she already knew, letting them spread the word. And I mean, now with social media, it's faster than a speeding bullet, literally. So, I mean, you could very easily spread the word about some workshop you're doing, or maybe you're going to host a class. You're going to host a class in the park. Maybe you're going to do yoga in the park or something like that. So you don't necessarily have to start leaping into, conferences and presenting on that large stage if you don't want to. If you think you're ready for that, throw out a proposal. When those requests for proposals come out, throw one out and see if it's something that's accepted. If it's not, maybe it's just not your time.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned the baby steps. I'm thinking back to the first few workshops I held were actually study groups. I would just say, hey, at noon on Wednesday next week, I'm going to talk about the feet and how to train your feet. And you can come, and I did donation based, throw in $5 or $10 for me putting it together. And people were more than happy to do that. And after I did those a few times, then I eventually bumped it up and got it, everyone's like, oh, it'd be great to get continuing ed for this. So then I went through the proposal process. I was so nervous. I hemmed and hawed over the titles. But ultimately, I think companies, they want lots of continuing education opportunities for people. So it's not even really a matter of whether they're going to accept you or not. As long as you put together a professional proposal, they're usually open to anything. I know NFPT is, and it's just a matter of putting it together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I love what you mentioned about asking for the donations. When you're thinking about expanding your career, I think sometimes we can get caught up in this has got to be lucrative. And we define lucrative as thousands of dollars in one sitting. You're going to set yourself up for disappointment if you go that route. So try to keep your eye on the fact that you're growing. This is a growth opportunity to reach out, and you should not come out of the gate expecting to make, $10,000 from this one workshop. It's not going to happen. Sorry. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not going to happen. So, starting with those baby steps and being okay with taking it slow, I think is an important piece of the process.
Yeah, just take that first step. And maybe that first step is, hopefully at this point in your career, you've attended other workshops, but if you haven't done any live workshops, you've done them maybe all on the internet, because NFPT is an online certification. So maybe all of your credentials have been through the internet. Go to a live workshop of someone that you're interested in presenting like them, and you can learn from them. Or maybe if you haven't been to a fitness convention yet, it's time to go. That's like, I feel like the first baby step you could take is go and watch other people teach and present. And really what we're talking about here is stepping outside of the coaching clients and stepping into coaching other peers of yours. Mm-hmm. Now, certainly you can expand yourself by, instead of just coaching the people that you're training every week or working with one-on-one, you can start writing blogs for that same audience. You could write blogs for the bigger audience. You could write for a company like NFPT, where you're actually speaking to your peers and you're sharing your methodologies and you're sharing your passion and you're sharing your knowledge. So I feel like there's two avenues to take if you want to expand your career. One is keep working with clients, what we call the public consumer, or you can go and try to work with and teach other professionals. And so either route, you could be teaching workshops for your bigger community. Like Erin said, you could go and teach at corporate wellness, or you could be teaching the corporate wellness instructors themselves. You could go and offer a workshop for those instructors to learn a new way to teach or a new way to motivate people.
Right, exactly. And I think allowing yourself to be creative is one of the first steps, and not approaching it as, well, I've only been in this field for X amount of years, or I've only ever done this. Who cares? You still have experience, right? You still have learned some things throughout your journey. That's all valuable. And so why not share it with not just the people that we're working with one-on-one to train, but with peers? And maybe it looks like something where you partner up with another colleague. Mm-hmm. There's power in numbers. There really is. I mean, look at Bev and I. We're almost at 1 year of doing this Facebook Live show.
We're powerful.
Yeah. So, don't be afraid to step outside that box. And no, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be this, big time famous mover and shaker in the fitness industry. Yes, there are those people. And yeah, they're pretty amazing. But at the same time, so are you. So why not put your energy towards something like that? Because you have something to add to the profession. You went into this profession for a reason, probably many reasons. Yeah. Share that. Start with that story, and you have something to add. So you don't have to be a veteran in the industry for, 20, 25, 30 years. No. You can be coming out of the gate, and maybe your voice is best heard with how the industry will look different, how that landscape can change.
Absolutely. And that's where advocating can come in. Mm-hmm. Perhaps you don't want to present or write, or none of those things appeal to you, but maybe you are really good at networking or rallying people, and you could advocate for what is that next step. There was a time in the fitness industry where no health insurance companies gave incentive for working out. I hear some companies now are giving incentive for healthy sleep.
Seriously?
Yeah. So they have their employees wearing sleep trackers at night. And if they get their, I think 7 to 8 hours a night, they pay for part of their health insurance, basically. Yeah. Yep. And so that's an emerging area in the industry. So, that is something that I'm advocating for, is for sleep. And I'm doing that by presenting and writing and all of those avenues. But you could advocate just, you could go to your public policy officers, and you could try to work on, getting things changed for all different. I'm trying to think of, like the FDA food label changes. You could get involved with those sort of movements, mm-hmm. and to make sure that these changes are aligning with the current research and aligning with what's happening out there.
Right. Because keep in mind, policymakers, they're not the experts in the field most often. Right. So it's sort of, if we think about the education model, it's those that don't teach legislate for education. And so in some ways, I feel like the industry has some holes that could be filled in terms of that advocacy. Just looking at legislative regulations and laws, like for even really great standard certifications, you have to be 18 years or older, have a first aid CPR certification, and study for the test and take it. That's a hole, a big one in the industry. And I would love to see some sort of minimum requirement of a degree in the area. Like you're messing with people's health. And if you don't go into it fully armed and fully knowledgeable with that arsenal of information, there are consequences for it. And I think that that's a weakness in the industry. We could say the same thing about massage therapy. There's not a standard, law or requirement that kind of sets the bar for that profession. So that's another area that you could advocate for in a lot of different ways, whether it's like maybe just start at your local state government, and then it could certainly expand federally, but it's going to take a lot of, but that's another avenue. And it's another example of a hole in the industry.
Yeah. And if you don't want to reinvent the wheel or start fresh, you could approach an organization. There are many organizations like NFPT, American Council on Exercise, American College of Sports Medicine, that already have these initiatives moving, and you could volunteer yourself to be a part of it. You could also be a volunteer to help with exam writing. There are opportunities out there to volunteer where you don't get paid, but by volunteering, you'll open up doors, you'll meet other people, and then those relationships can lead to opportunities in and of themselves.
Yeah. And I think one really great example of how to get involved in that sort of area is looking at the Exercise is Medicine website, because that's sort of like a coalition of not just your physicians, so your MDs, but it's all practitioners from a lot of different allied health fields. And they're bringing together that message that it's not just about the treatment. We're focused on prevention. Right. And that's something that has been a missing message for a long time. It was always this secondary and tertiary prevention or treatment versus that primary prevention. And so we're starting to see that message change a little bit. And there's even the University of Wyoming even has an Exercise is Medicine on campus. So there's even small things so if you're, in an area that has a university or a college, you could certainly approach their campus life director of housing, whomever that might be, for starting some sort of group like that on campus.
Yeah. Yeah. And just start the conversation. I feel like if you're feeling this craving in your heart to do more, just start telling people that I want to do something more. I want to do something different. And when you tell people that that's your interest and your intention, they will give you ideas. They will tell you about, oh, there's this group that we started and this is what we're doing. And, you know, you can bring these opportunities to yourself instead of having to go seek them out. You can just tell people. That was how I got into teaching. I just started telling people I really want to teach more. And before I knew it, word got around that I was looking to teach and someone needed a teacher. And so, yeah, if you're feeling that craving, just reach out, reach out to us. NFPT has the opportunity for NFPT certified trainers and partners to guest author on our blog. And, maybe we'll put together a convention someday if a few of you want to,
If we have survived Facebook Live for a year, we can do anything. Dead serious. But yeah, I think I've said it before, but what you seek is seeking you. So if you are seeking opportunities for growth and opportunities for learning and improvement and just raising that bar in your own career and your own journey, those opportunities are seeking you too. And so put that out there. Like Bev said, reach out and say, this is what I'm looking for. I've had random people on Instagram message me because they've read an article that I wrote for NFPT or ACE. And they're like, hey, I have a question about X. That's how, I would give them feedback. Chances are they're reaching out to a lot of other professionals as well. And that's all it takes. Maybe not every professional will respond. And if they don't, poo-poo on them. But reach out, cast that line and just see what happens.
Yeah. And this definitely feeds into if you don't know, we have a whole collection of Facebook Live episodes. This is our 45th. We've done some on networking. We've done some on marketing. And so if you're looking for advice on how to put yourself out there and how to reach out, definitely check out the collection. It's on YouTube, on the NFPT YouTube page. And let's see here. Billy says URSA does a lot for the fitness industry with legislation and policies for all of us in it and for the consumer. So there's a place that you could reach out to. Again, you could start small with come over to NFPT and ask us for some help. And Myra says, what, 1 year already? You girls are rock stars. Thanks for committing. I admire you so much. Oh, yeah, almost. We're almost there.
Yeah, like a few weeks out, but
yeah.
Anything above 9 months.
We'll put it that way. Yeah, we've done 45 episodes, and I think we only missed 1 week all year when we were both sick. So yeah, thank you all for being here. If you weren't, then we wouldn't have a show. So
yeah.
Well, awesome. We would love to hear what your next step is in your career. Please share with us. What are you doing next? Erin, what are you doing next?
Curriculum development.
Yes, lots of curriculum. Yeah, you're stepping outside of the universities now and developing curriculum for fitness companies.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting just because, I am a veteran in the higher education industry and I have been teaching for 16 years. So I do have a lot of that experience inside of that brick and mortar sort of, we've got these rules and regulations and this type of mold that we have to fit. Mm-hmm. That's just the way that it is. It's any accredited institution. But now, like stepping outside of that, and I'm taking that experience, that knowledge, that degree, and developing curriculum for the industry. Mm-hmm. Which is super exciting. So I'm still teaching, but instead of just doing that and preparing, budding exercise science students to move on to the next course in their educational journey, I'm outside of that now. And that's just, if you would have asked me 10 years ago if I would see myself doing that, I would have been like, no.
Yeah.
Who am I to do this? So it takes a little bit of courage. It takes a little bit of courage fire to just step outside. And like I said, you got to cast a wider net. And if you don't take that opportunity, that's the one way to guarantee that nothing's going to change is if you don't do anything. So do it.
Do it.
Do it.
That's the message.
Yeah.
Do it. Sweet. Well, thanks for joining us today. We'd love to hear about what steps you're taking in your career, any other thoughts you have. You can share them. Even if you're watching this episode after the fact, please share them. We see the comments on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you like this episode, share it, put it out there. That's the best thing we can ask for, is that our voices are heard as we advocate for you and encourage you. And yeah, I think, let me see what we're doing next week. In case you're curious, we're talking about budgeting next week. We're going to talk about money, little summer budgeting before you spend all your money this summer having fun. So join us next week on NFPT Live, and we'll see you then.
Thanks for being here.